The Leafs have a commanding 3-1 lead on the Sens, and yet one of the key storylines, the fact the Leafs are now 1-12 in potential series-clinching games in the Core 4 era since 2018. Mark, is this some people making too much of past playoff disappointments, or is it a valid conversation?
It will be a valid conversation, Gino, if they lose Tuesday night at home in Game 5, because I can tell you they're already getting questions about it. Mitch Marner today asked about the lessons from 2021 when the Leafs blew a 3-1 lead against the Montreal Canadiens, and he said, I'm not living in the past. I'm not thinking about the future. I'm in the moment. So I thought he handled the question quite well today. But yeah, I mean, I don't think really right now it's a big talking point, but it will only get louder if things don't go well for the Leafs on Tuesday.
Hey, look, John Tavares missed 10 minutes in overtime last game when he got nailed by Artem Zub. He came back but didn't speak after the game. Any update on his condition?
Yes, he practiced fully today, spoke to the media afterwards, said the concussion spotter is the one who pulled him from that game in overtime. Obviously, there's a reason we have these rules, but that was clearly tough for the Leafs. I mean, they had the 4-minute power play in overtime. Tavares is such a big part of that power play. He misses that chance. They lose the game. He said he was feeling a little sore in the kind of the jaw, cheek area. Clearly not happy with the hit by Zub because it was away from the play. Puck was nowhere near him. He pointed out Craig Berube felt it was a headshot. Leafs not happy about the hit, not happy that it went uncalled in that game, but they have to move on, of course. And the good news is that John Tavares, who's been playing quite well in this series, tied for the team lead with 3 goals, scored in Game 4 before having to leave and then coming back in overtime. You know, Tavares is okay and he's going to be ready for Game 5.
Matthews, Marner, Nylander, not a single goal between them last game. In the 13 potential clinching games since 2018, 0 for Marner goals. Nylander 2, Matthews 4 and 13. All of them way below their goals per playoff game average. Their supporting cast is significantly better this time around. Have you seen enough to make you think they're ready to snap this disturbing trend, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, you never know until you see it, right? They've looked good in this series. They've been putting up points. You know, Matthews maybe a little quiet in Game 4. You know, his point streak snapped, his 6-game point streak snapped. Marner's leading the team in points in this series with 7. He's been on the score sheet, and I just like the vibe from him today. He seemed very relaxed. John Tavares, of course, has missed. You know, he wasn't available in that 2021 series against the Canadiens after getting hurt in Game 1, so he wasn't part of that. He's got 2 series-clinching goals on his resume. Of course, he scored in overtime for the Leafs to knock out the Lightning. A couple of years ago, he scored a series-clinching goal in overtime for the New York Islanders. William Nylander's been the member of the core who seems to elevate in these moments, seems to be able to produce in the later parts of the series. So we don't know until we see it, Gino, but there are signs. Certainly, we've seen it all series with how they've come out in this series, the points they put up, that this is a new kind of step and stage and chapter for this core.
All right, what about the series overall, Mark? The division-winning Leafs have had to go to overtime in 3 straight games against a wildcard team that only made the playoffs with a week left in the regular season. Is this a concern for the Leafs, or on the other side of it, just credit to a Sens team that's played great hockey?
Yes, well, first of all, I think the Leafs are full value for their 3-1 lead in this series. I know we've seen 3 games go to overtime, but I do think in the 2 games that they previously won in overtime, they were the better team, especially early in the game when they built the lead and then did a good job defensively shutting things down the stretch. So I do think the Leafs are full value for this victory. I think the playoffs are tough all around the league. I think you see there's no sweep in any series. That's just the way it goes. You know, the Senators are a good team. That's why they're in the playoffs when you slash the league in half and only the top half make it. So I don't think it's a concern. I don't think the Leafs expected it to be a sweep. I think they're reasonably happy with how things are going, especially at 5-on-5. Power play, you know, the penalty kill, special teams can be better in Game 5. I think they worked a bit on that today. The power play certainly got some reps in. So I think in general, you know, the Leafs are pretty happy now. That's not to say the Senators have a foothold, not to say the Senators don't have a foothold now and that maybe they can grow in belief and confidence, but I think the Leafs, just being around them, are reasonably happy with how this series is playing out.
The Leafs haven't clinched the playoff series on home ice in 21 years, Mark. Given how the Sens are playing and the Leafs' recent playoff history, how important is it for the Leafs to close out this series tomorrow night on home ice?
you know, it's important. We talked about it off the start. The demon questions, the doubts will start creeping in if you let the Senators, you know, get another win in this series. I'm looking at the start of this game as being really important. You know, I just remember 2021 when they were up 3-1 against Montreal. They quickly fell behind 3-0 on home ice against the Canadiens. They also started slow in Game 6 in Montreal, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. I thought Game 4 was by far their worst start to a game in the series. So they got to show some killer instinct here. We've talked about that. That's been lacking for this group in the past. And I'll be curious just to see if they can ride the emotion of the crowd. The building was hot in the first 2 games. They got to come out here. Of the potential closeout games they've had in this era, only 4 have come on home ice with a full building behind them. So let's see if they can capitalize on that. The Leafs have won 9 straight games at home. They haven't lost at home since March 15th against the Senators, actually. So we'll see if they can capitalize on the home ice. I think the start really important to this game, Gino.
The Leafs held the Sens to just 4 shots on net total in the second and third period last game, but their big offensive guns couldn't deliver. They'll get another shot at exercising the demons of playoffs past tomorrow night on home ice.